そろそろ終わりにしようか。いでよ。
Welcome to a Legend of Legaia lore video. Today's topic is the cause of fear for all of humanity in the world of Legaia, the Mist. The world of Legaia is one that starts off with peaceful coexistence between humans and stone-like creatures called Seru. The Seru had amazing powers that they willingly lent to humans, for everything from menial household chores to amplifying their strength and other attributes. Some people preferred to have Seru living with them, sort of like a pet, whereas others were more interested in using them as personal enhancements, and would equip the Seru, so to speak, whereby the Seru would attach to the human and increase his or her abilities, while itself becoming inactive and looking similar to armor. When found in the wild, Seru were benevolent in nature, and a human wouldn't have to worry about being attacked by one. However, Seru belonging to a human could be instructed to attack others. Additionally, people wearing Seru retained full control of their mental faculties and could certainly attack others while Seru enhanced. As is expected with human nature, conflicts broke out from time to time between individuals and ruling governments, but the Seru were never seen as the root cause for these situations, and were not feared by the majority of humanity. This all changed with the appearance of a strange mist that came without warning one day. Initially indistinguishable from a naturally occurring mist in the air, albeit much thicker and closer to a dense fog, it soon became obvious that this was no ordinary phenomenon, as every Seru surrounded by it would go berserk and attack humans on sight with incredible ferocity. Many would simply slaughter any man, woman, or child without mercy, and others would forcibly merge with them, turning them into wide-eyed stumbling zombies that would also kill any human present. Those wearing a Seru while the mist surrounded them would instantly be zombified as well. With mist covering Legaia within a matter of weeks, and Seru already being so integrated into human life at that point, it didn't take long for the Seru to completely decimate the human population. Only small pockets of humanity survived in places the mist had not yet reached. Nobody knew of the mist's origin, why it came to be, or why it caused Seru to go mad with rage. Even the world's top scientist and alchemist, Dr. Usha, along with his team of researchers, were at a loss, despite years of study. It is only after the raw Seru heroes embark on a journey 10 years after the mist appears that its true nature becomes revealed. So let's go over what is eventually discovered about the mist using both the game and the novel as sources. The mist was first created as a result of tireless weapons development research within the nation of Concram and the northern mountains of the Callisto continent. Concram's long war with the southern tower city of Sol had reached a point where Concram was certainly going to be on the losing end of it, and it was decided by the head of their research team, Prince Court, and the court scientist, Dr. Jet, that victory was only possible if they could access the dimension the Seru originated from, so that they may find something to give them an advantage. Eventually, this goal was accomplished, and the duo of Court and Jet successfully opened a vortex that bridged the human world of Legaia and the Seru world, called Serukai. Putting on Seru and jumping into the vortex, they reached the Seru realm, and not only discovered Seru that were nowhere to be found in Legaia, but more importantly, found that the realm's atmosphere severely amplified the strength of their Seru, and thus their own strength. This strength boost was exactly what was needed for Concram to crush Sol and end the 10-year-long war. But the issue became how to transfer the atmosphere of the Seru realm to Legaia, and also ensure that only Concram soldiers reap the benefits of its strengthening properties. This started another round of exhaustive research, which eventually led to the creation of a mist nest, as it's called in the Japanese translation, or rather a mist generator as it's called in the localizations. This machine was built over the vortex leading to the Seru realm, and as the atmosphere flowed into the generator through this vortex, the generator condensed the atmosphere into a thick white mist that blew through a tube leading to an enclosed cylinder where a person wearing a Seru could be showered in the mist and personally reap the strength-enhancing benefits. In this controlled manner, Sol Seru would be strengthened, and Concram soldiers could steamroll them with ease. During Concram's demonstration of the new weapon, the generator went haywire and created mist out of the Seru realm's atmosphere at a rate far higher than it could safely handle. Its emergency shut-off safety feature became unresponsive, and the generator exploded, causing mist to pour out uncontrollably into Concram. While the generator's structure was blown apart, it continued to generate mist out of the atmosphere at a constant rate, and Conkram Seru were turned into bloodthirsty beasts, while those wearing Seru were turned into monsters. The mist is eventually shut off by the combined efforts of Vaughn, Noah, and Gala by defeating the evil, otherworldly entities called rogues. I'll make a separate video talking about the rogues, but the important part about them in relation to the mist is that the atmosphere in the Seru realm that strengthened the Seru inside it was created by the rogues themselves. You see, not all of the Seru-kai contained atmospheric components that strengthened Seru. These components were only found within an area on the border of Seru-kai, called Rogue's Tower. This was an enormous living structure made from the body of a rogue, where all of the rogues were sealed inside for eternity. See, while humans breathe out mostly carbon dioxide when we exhale, the rogues breathed out Seru-strengthening components into the tower, and when these components passed through Quart's mist generator, they condensed into the mist that eventually covered Conkram. So this makes sense. But why did the mist created out of this atmosphere cause the Seru to go berserk, fill humans with an unassailable sadness, and kill off the Genesis trees over time? Well, simply put, the evil rogues breathed out their malice into the air. When enveloped in the mist, a Seru becomes consumed by the evil energy and desires of the rogues, and essentially becomes a slave to the rogues' intent. Now, as you know from playing the game, raw Seru are resistant to the maddening effects of the mist, but can become ill when exposed to mist at a high enough concentration, which is why Meta and Terra are unable to reach Zeto's dungeon too early on in their journey. We find through the Legend of Legaia novel that the raw Seru simply have a much higher willpower than normal Seru, and can fight off the malicious influence of the rogues much better, but with enough exposure they too can be consumed by rogues' evil energy just the same. In fact, in the novel there's a point in Jet's Absolute Fortress where Vaughn gets too close to its mist generator and is doused in the mist flowing from it. Being attached to Meta, he's able to experience what she is experiencing, and as his vision blacks out, he hears a reverberating sinister voice belonging to Rogue that communicates its longing to conquer the world and all of humanity. So it becomes apparent that the mist-covered Seru kills simply because the intent of the rogues is to conquer humans and take over Legaia. Perhaps it's due to the different physiology of humans that the mist doesn't make them go berserk, but while it's safe for them to breathe, humans describe an immense sadness and dread when in its atmosphere for too long. And while it's not clear exactly how the mist is poisonous to the Genesis trees, I'm guessing it's because of the trees' ties to the Seru realm that the mist is able to physically destroy them over time. Anyway, with the destruction of Rogue's Tower, no more mist could be created from its atmosphere. But those who wished to spread the mist were gifted with incredible knowledge of how to replicate its effects. When they found a fragment of an evil rogue after the initial mist outbreak in Conkram, as it turns out, the rogues had similar properties to the raw Seru, and Quart was able to use the bodies of the raw Seru and raw Seru eggs as catalysts that, when placed in the center of a mist generator, would react to create a mist indistinguishable from the original, and suddenly be enslaved by a rogue's malice. The only caveat was that the mist generator would have to be much larger than the one seen in Conkram in order to blow out mist of similar intensity from a single raw Seru or its egg. 4 mist generators were built across the Legaia continents, with 2 in Callisto Kingdom, 1 in the Sebekis Archipelago, and 1 in Drake Kingdom. The mist produced was physically similar to naturally occurring mist, and as such it couldn't rise above a certain height, and its direction could be influenced by strong winds, which caused turbulence within the mist and helped disperse it. The creation of the mist also took energy, and we even see through the floating castle's mist generator that because its raw Seru egg used so much energy to keep the castle afloat, the effectiveness of the mist itself was severely reduced, so much so that it would be unable to turn normal Seru into crazed beasts like the others. It would simply strengthen them. As we see earlier, a small amount of mist would act as an elixir and simply strengthen the Seru without turning them into evil. It was only after they were exposed to an incredible amount that they would turn crazy. This helps explain why Quart planned to lure out the remaining raw Seru from their Genesis trees, as using them to create more mist generators would create an even thicker mist to cover the continents, and Rogue's evil will would dominate to an even greater degree. Well, there you have it. This is the Mist of Legend of Legaia explained. I really like how the mist is utilized in Legend of Legaia's story, even though games like Silent Hill, Final Fantasy IX, and Demon's Souls have an ominous mist present, and even though the mist concept is clearly based on Stephen King's novella The Mist, Legaia's mist is more than just something that changes the atmosphere or shrouds even more sinister creatures inside it. It does both, but the mist here also acts like a separate villainous entity entirely, and it contributes to the dark tone of the entire game in a way that's highly effective. So I think I've explained all there really is to say about the mist, but if you still have questions about it, please ask in the comments section and I'll address anything that I may have left out in this video. Also keep the suggestions coming on what lore videos you would like to see from this channel in the future. Thanks a lot for your support. This is LegaiaWiki. Until next time.